Right, folks, welcome back to the channel. It's time to look ahead to match day 4 of the Champions League as Celtic face Leipzig at Celtic Park. I'm joined by Alistair. How you doing, Alistair?
Hey folks, I'm doing great. Just yourself.
Aye, good. Obviously, it's match day 4 of the Champions League. We've not had a home game in a while in the Champions League. Obviously, having the two away games, the disaster in Dortmund and the good result in Atalanta. Alistair, obviously, tomorrow's going to be a difficult test. I don't think anybody's saying anything otherwise. But what's your thoughts ahead of it?
It's it's going to be a difficult test, but at the end of the day, it's a Champions League game, mate. You're not going to get easy tests. So,
Aye.
apart
Um,
from maybe Slovan Bratislava at home, but it's
aye.
okay. Keep telling us.
Aye, well, obviously, we sit on 4 points after that win against Slovan and then the draw in Bergamo 2 weeks ago. Obviously, with that Dortmund result sandwiched in between it. As for our opponents, they have not had the greatest of starts to their Champions League campaign.
Yeah.
They
But
don't have
one
any.
thing we do know is we're going to be above them
Aye.
regardless of what happens. So,
They don't have any points, but obviously, I think if you look further into it, the games they've had have been pretty hard
yeah, I
games.
wouldn't fancy the games to be
Ath-
fair.
Atletico Madrid away. They've also had Liverpool at home and Juventus at home.
It's
Um,
kind of one of bust for them, really.
I
Because
think with the games, they've still got teams like Inter Milan to go and play. I think Villa have to play as well.
oh
Um,
yeah,
So, aye, but I think it will be a difficult game. I don't think you can look too much into how they've started. I just think if you compare our list of games, and don't get me wrong, I'm buzzing we've got the list of games that if you look at somebody like Leipzig, but they've had probably a tougher side of the draw, to be honest. But I think that's just how the Champions League operates, really.
it could be us next year.
Hopefully not.
No,
But
no, but I'm just saying it could be, mate. So
aye.
this is where you've got to take this chance while it's here. So
Aye, well, obviously our home games. That's where, for me personally, that's where I expect Celtic. We've seen the gritty performance in Atalanta last week, but in your home games, you're expecting to not go all out attack, but have a go at teams. I don't want to see teams sitting back at home. I think
we've
Celtic.
not got the players to sit back, Josh. If we sit back, we'll get beat.
Aye, and I think we could have a go. Obviously, they've got some really dangerous players. The two front men and Benjamin Šeško, Louis Sependa. They've also got Nusa on the wing. So they've got some really dangerous, pacey players. But I still think Celtic have shown over the last few years, that even if we didn't get the results at home in Europe, maybe your Atletico Madrid's, even your 60 minutes against Real Madrid, teams like that, we've still shown that we can go and get results. No results, sorry, but performance. But I think what we need to do this time around is turn those performances into 90-minute performances and no say, well, it's a 60-minute performance against Real Madrid, because at the end of the day, we've still not got anything out of that game. So I think we need to push performances into results, and then if we could get a result tomorrow night, it put us in a phenomenal position to qualify, Alistair.
Yeah, well, uh, I'll say it to us. If we won tomorrow night, we we're no through, but we kind of are through.
We're a big way there.
I don't even I don't even think with 4 games to go, if I told you on record I'll say this, and this might be a glass half full, we got a point tomorrow night, I'll be quite reasonably happy because you've got Bhoys and you've got young boys that gives you 11 points.
Aye.
Uh, if you can win the two, which no disrespect to them, are more vulnerable than Leipzig. So, and if I was to tell you, Joy, halfway through the group, worst case scenario, he would take 5 points. He would. I said I'll sign up for that. The
Aye, I think with the
Dortmund
games that
away,
we've Aye.
We're
The
good
games
for
I've
good.
had and the games that we've got coming up, definitely I think it would be a reasonable. But I do want to see Celtic. I want to see progress from Celtic. I think that's been the main word for this
We need a
Champions League champ.
scalp. We need
Aye.
a scalp.
I want to see Celtic maybe not win the game, but give somebody a really bloody nose. See if we come in at the game tomorrow night and maybe it's just been a bit of quality it's undone us, and that might be the case because Leipzig have got the players that probably we haven't that can. We've got quality players, but we've not got 40, 50 million pound players in our team, right? But if we can go into a game and make a really good account of ourselves, I'll be more than happy. But it can't be that we've conceded goals through
We
mistakes.
roll over and get tickled in the belly kind of thing.
Aye.
Yeah, on you go.
No, I was just thinking. Sorry.
I was going to say that was it. I was going to say, look, the good thing from your point of view, and this is where I think we could nick it, Leipzig need to come out. And I've watched all the Leipzig's Champions League games, and while they've had hard games, defensively they don't look solid. You can get at them.
Aye. In terms of Celtic, I think we've got a fully fit squad from the weekend. No injuries were picked up, and that's 6-0. Robin Aberdeen. I didn't really expect them to be anyway because I think we took players off. Probably ideal preparation to be honest at the weekend.
Yeah, well, we
Um,
said that when we beat St Johnson, we know what happened at the very next game, so I'll
aye.
just keep. We seem to be a bit calmer.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but I think it's a home game. I think it's different. I do think this is different. I think the squad hopefully have learned a lot from that, and I don't want to keep talking about it really, to be honest. But I hope they've learned a lot from the Dortmund game, and that's what I'm trying to say is I don't want to see the same mistakes occurring.
No.
And in these games, we need to be learning a lot from what the mistakes, and you can't learn. If you're a club like Celtic, you've not got a lot of time to learn. You've not got 4 or 5 campaigns. Because if you have 2 decent campaigns and you've still not learned, Celtic, you're probably off because we know what our selling model is. We get players for maybe 2 seasons and then they're sold.
Well,
So that's
if we get to the last 16, our team's going to get
aye.
ripped out for under us.
Um,
That's just the way it goes.
and that's what I'm saying. I think when you play for Celtic, and this goes for this team at the moment, is you need to learn game by game. So if you against Dortmund, if Liam Scales made a mistake, Liam Scales need to be shown right now. You can't. You need to learn what I'm trying to say. You need to learn. No, you just Liam Scales attack anybody. You need to be learning quickly about how to rectify that mistakes. You don't get away with these type of mistakes at a high level. And I think we showed against Atalanta that we can be resolute defensively in these games. And I think that's something that we've cried for years, just going away, having a, I didn't play attractive football, but we got the job, we got a point at a really it looks really good as well now.
It's no our job to make it a good game for the Atalanta supporters. Our job is to get the best result for ourselves.
Aye.
If that means no parking the bus, because I hate that description. But if that means sitting in and being hard to beat, so be it. And if we need to do that down at Birmingham, or if we need to do it in Zagreb to steal a goal and maybe hold out for dues.
Aye. Our opponents, they sit second in the Bundesliga. They're 3 points off the top, which belongs to Bayern Munich. They have just come off the back of, which I think is quite funny, a 2-1 defeat to Dortmund at the weekend. Theirs was 2-1, not 7-1, but
Thanks, Josh.
it
I
show,
needed reminding of that.
it does show they can get at, they can be got at, but it does also show that one of their main men, Sheshko, he scored at the weekend. So it does show they've got some massive threats. I looked at their injury record. I think they've got 4 players out long term. One of them being one of them, the main men, as you like to call it, is Javi Simons. He was out weeks. I
I'm
think it was a game
delighted
against
he's
Liverpool.
missing, to be honest.
Because I think he's one that I'm glad is out because I think he could rip us apart, to be honest. Um, Obviously you've got Slager out, David Rams out, the left back, and Costello. Look at Lukaba, he's out as well. So they've got some injury problems. We're going to have a kind of fully fit squad. Obviously, Alistair, we've played them. We've played them quite recently as well. Played them. Angie's season in the Champions League, we were beat twice. I think we were unlucky in that game at Celtic Park. I think it was another missed opportunity, as I called it
Yeah,
earlier on.
I mean, Angie's time at Celtic, and Angie's, and I'm not having a go at him here, but he felt as if every Champions League game was the same.
The
Because
chances were
we'd
just.
start well and then we'd blow a gasket after an hour.
But I think that's what we need to do, and this even goes for Brendan's team. We need to, when these chances come along, we can't pass them up. It's not we need, and I think we have got this away from it. Obviously, we only had one chance in Dortmund, which we kind of scored. Bratislava, we had plenty of chances. Atalanta, we didn't have maybe the kilo chance towards the end. But I think if we get the chances tomorrow night, we need to take them because the more chances we miss, the more think Leipzig might think, well, right, okay, well. And then when it gets to 70, 80 minutes, Leipzig do something and then it's a goal. I do think Leipzig will score tomorrow, so I do think we need to.
We need to,
We
if
need,
we're
we
going
need
to win the game, we need to score twice. That's
aye.
minimum.
I think even that's minimum. I think Leipzig could with the attacking threat that they've got up top. I think could and on the wings. They could score maybe a 2. So you need to what I'm trying to say is when the chances come across, they need to be taken. We can't be skying chances for 2 yards out and all this stuff. It needs to be a clinical performance like the one at the weekend where every ball was going in the back of the net.
Yeah, I was thinking that because kept some of that for Tuesday night.
Aye. Obviously, as I said, we've played them previously. We've been beat twice and obviously won that game under Brendan Rodgers in the Europa League in 2018, I think it was.
Yeah, well, but Rodgers is the last season.
So 2018, 2018-19.
2018, aye.
Obviously the Kieran Tierney, Odson Edward game, and then obviously the other 2 games were under Ange. In his second season.
I know Kieran Tierney's only goal in Europe for Celtic, I think it was.
Did they not get? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but the only one I can maybe say is the Man City one. But I think that was their own goal.
That was Raheem Sterling.
Aye. So maybe actually, to be fair, but I think it's so important that we can we get off on a good foot tomorrow night. We can't start on the back foot. We need to get the crowd up, and the crowd play for me playing one of these nights. We need to make it a fucking cesspit.
It needs to be rocking.
It needs to be a cesspit. We need to be.
It doesn't, and it needs to be one of these games where the crowd can't go flat at any time.
And by the way, get your bands and fucking singers in the bin. Let the fans sing. I don't like. That's the one thing that really annoys me. Just let the supporters sing. Get them up, man. Get them, because we need to. Like Celtic have got a really big chance here, Alistair.
Yeah,
a massive chance. And I think if we didn't get that result in Atalanta 2 weeks ago, maybe the more night people would be like, another pumping in Europe. Another pumping in Europe. But I think fans are and with that performance at the weekend, I think fans are right, there's something here. So we need to be every time they're on the ball, booing them and
it needs to be. I hate bringing this up, but it needs to be Barcelona.
It needs to be a hostile and it's just horrible to play. No, look, they're smiling at the anthem. Get that in the bin and all. I don't care.
Can I just say something before forget happy birthday to Celtic because it's
Oh,
Celtic's birthday.
so it is.
No, aye.
But I think it's so important that we start off really well. The crowd are getting up, and if you start off well in a Champions League night at Celtic Park, the crowd will go with you. If we concede early, but the crowd goes the opposite way, goes flat. But if we can get maybe an
As
early
long
goal,
as we, as long it sounds really 1980s. As long as we get torn in, and by that I don't mean breaking people's legs and stuff, but what I mean is competing a game.
I get them, bro. No, but obviously you've been to like the Manchester United games, you went to the Barcelona game, and I don't think it's a
Man
coincidence.
United and Barcelona are better than Leipzig.
And it's not even the team,
No
but I
the
was
team, no the teams they knew, but the
aye,
teams we beat.
aye, no, but
I think.
what I'm
On
trying to
you
say
go.
is there's no coincidence. Is when if the crowd get up, you've got a much bigger chance of getting a result because the crowd on those 2 nights, especially, were like
Even the Man
phenomenal.
City atmosphere.
Because we started off early. It's all about getting that early, like seeing some early promise. That's the big thing. Alistair, obviously we'll move on to team selection. Obviously we've seen obviously a team at the weekend. Alistair, what would you do with the team?
Same team as that.
I would say same team as well.
Truthfully, truthfully, I
Um,
think that's my best 11.
I would go
Uh,
with Schmeichel and goal. Go with Johnston, Trusty, Carter. I think it's harsh. I do think it's harsh in scales, but I'm,
at the end of the day, it would be harsh and trusty.
we've
That's
won.
what happens when you've got
Uh,
three good centre
aye.
halves.
We've won for years when we had Kobayashi, we've had Welsh, and we're saying, oh, when one of them gets injured, they're absolutely shitting themselves. But it's, if I'm being honest, I like Scales as a player, but I don't really care who plays. I don't.
Leip- Leipzig, Leipzig, you said they've got pace,
Oh,
and
they've got
for their is you
100%.
need to play trusty.
Aye.
And I think Rodgers kind of gave the game away a bit when he said he played crusty for pace on Saturday night. I think that was to get. I'm not saying Rodgers was making a great deal of it, but I think his idea was I want to see Carter Vickers and Trusty play, play, and see how they cover each other because you can't throw them into Leipzig. That would have been folly.
I
They
know.
had to play.
I think we saw that when you trust to get basically get thrown into Dortmund. It was obviously grim to watch, but so I think maybe that was. But I think who played on Saturday plays on Tuesday. I said that exactly the same last Wednesday against Dundee. I said whoever
Yeah,
plays.
I know Rodgers likes a curveball, and the only curveball I could maybe see him throwing in, if I'm honest, would be McGowan, but I don't think that would
Nah,
happen for the
nah.
start.
Um,
He might be a good, he might be a Ryan Christie like, and
aye,
I'm not saying McGowan's like Christie because I didn't particularly like Ryan Christie for obvious reasons. But I think he might be a good 12 man to bring on as a sub.
I think the midfield has to stay the same. I thought because the midfield I thought were really on top. McGregor obviously plays Hatate. I thought Hatate gives. I just think Hatate gives you more, and when Hatate's really on it,
I
you
thought he
can tell a
basically
difference.
said on Saturday, you can't drop me
Aye,
with
and if
that
Hatate
performance.
and if Hatate can get up to that level that we all know he can, then I think we're on for a winner. I think he finds passes. He takes his pass completions probably aren't the best if you look at maybe Bernardo's or an Engels, but he takes risks. That's why, and I would rather have a player like that who does take risks because I think Engels maybe a bit more conservative, kind of just he's good defensively. I think and I thought Engels at the weekend again. He was obviously talking in the press conference today. obviously he's played Leipzig as well. But I do think Arne Engels at the weekend was fantastic, and you don't pay £11 million and then no play him in a game like this. He has to play. So that's
Yeah,
for me.
he needs to sit with McGregor and
Aye,
let Hatate go.
because I do think Arne Engels is what I saw at the weekend. I think he's maybe a box to box, because there was a moment where he was in defensive kind of area and he helped out Maida, and then he
Tall as well.
sprinted. Then he sprinted up the pitch to get into an attacking area. So I think that's what Arne Engels probably offers you at this moment in time
He's
is
tall as well.
a box to box kind of midfielder that has got no rapid, but he's got a bit of pace about him, got a bit of height about him.
He's good in the ball as well.
The forward line for me, I've seen discussion like Kyogo or Reader again. For me, it's a no-brainer and Kyogo goes in there. I think at
I think
home,
they'll both be involved.
I think both of them will be involved, but I think at home, especially starting Kyogo it's a must. I think because the Leipzig do play
A
quite
high
high
line.
up, and I think you can maybe get at their defence. So I think you've seen Kyogo at Champions League home games. He knows what he's doing. And they
Well,
can't.
they lost 2 to Atletico Madrid. They lost 3 to 10 Man Juventus. And they lost 2 to Liverpool. I know
2-1.
we're knowing that classy team, but it's looking at conceding goals, and that giving me confidence.
Aye. It's a blind confidence. It's great, isn't it?
It's a hope that kills you.
Aye, there you go. Aye, but as for me, and obviously you've said as well, that's why I keep the same team as the weekend. I don't think you change a winning team either. So I think for me,
I've heard a lot of people saying they would drop Valley for Taylor.
no.
Personally, I wouldn't. But
No, I think he was fantastic again at the weekend. I think
and
he
I
stayed.
noticed he was took off, so I would guess that would be to get rest him for them tomorrow night, or hopefully anyway that's the case.
I think he's taking a massive claim to him to be the starting left back, and then for me, I think he's been.
Yeah, well,
He's not perfect
and if
wrong.
you
Let's be
want
honest.
this might be harsh. If you want to try and attack them to stay long term, he kind of needs to be the
He
first.
needs to play these games, because why would they stay long time? He's just going to sit and play the odd game here or there. That's why he's came to Celtic, is to play these Champions League games. If you don't play him, then he's got to fuck this. I'm going back to Barcelona.
Yeah,
But
I'd already be making moves to make that
aye,
permanent.
if there was an option there, obviously that's
Well,
if he
and
wants
I
to as
keep
well.
saying to you don't need to make. You don't really need to have an option on a Spanish player, the buyout
Aye, but I
clause.
think it's always important if you. But I think, but it's odd that it didn't vie. I think, but
Why
as
wouldn't he want to stay?
I don't know. There's probably reasons that I don't think it'd be. I don't think it's cut and dry. Just go and
He's
sign
not
on.
getting in the Barcelona team.
I know, but there might be. What I'm trying to say is I don't think it's as cut and dry as we go and spend 2 million or 2.5 million on a release clause. It's up to the player at the end of the day. Hopefully he does. I want him to stay, obviously. But I think there's always more to these kind of negotiations, as we've seen,
Yeah, well,
especially with.
hopefully we can leave that to Mr. Tisdale to sort out.
Aye. We may as well end off with the score predictions. Alistair, what you say?
You go. I always go first. You go first.
I'm gonna go one each.
I'll go 2-1 Celtic.
I see Leipzig
I
scoring.
wouldn't be happy. I'd be happy with either.
Aye, I think a draw is obviously I hope for a win. But a draw I think would be another fantastic result. I do see Leipzig scoring, as I've said, but I also see us scoring as well. It's just if we can keep them out on at the other end
I meant to
and
ask
take our
you,
chances.
is their first choice goalkeeper out?
No, Galaki played at the weekend.
Right.
He's actually been he's probably one of his best seasons, to be honest. Aye, great. But I think hope for a good result. I think that's the main thing, and hopefully.
But I'll say this before we go. Let's no lose with Seattle if we lose by the odd goal.
I know. I think as long as we can see that we were in the game and maybe we've just lost it to maybe a bit of quality, then you can say right, fair enough. But if it's the same mistakes that cost us, I think that's been maybe a bit of disappointment. But that's going to be it for the Celtic and Leipzig preview. We'll be back tomorrow after the game for post-match reaction. Hopefully talking about a Celtic win in the Champions League. Until then, speak to you later and hail hail.